Sigma males are known to indulge in activities that are peculiar to only them. There is always something new to discover about them, whether it is one of their peculiar characteristics or one of their peculiar habits. Due to the fact that Sigma males are the rarest type of guys in the world, and because other people are not accustomed to the features that define them, they are usually misinterpreted. There is almost always a fully reasonable justification for why they behave in the way that they do, despite the fact that some of their acts might be unique. The following is a list of 12 odd behaviors that are shared by all male Sigma males and are incomprehensible to people who are not Sigma males. Number 1. Since Sigma males despise being the center of attention, they will always select a seat at the back of the room whenever possible. They typically look for seats in the back of the room, where they may keep a low profile and observe in peace. They will be able to monitor and assess the occurrences in a distraction-free manner thanks to this method. They merely want to blend in and not stick out like alpha guys, but they aren't actively trying to avoid social interaction because of this goal. One advantage of sitting in the back is the ability to exit the vehicle more quickly if it becomes necessary. They won't participate in the conversation if they know they can sneak out of a dull meeting or conference without being seen. People often misunderstand them as being silent or apathetic until they have something meaningful to say, at which point their true nature is revealed. In point of fact, though, they are so sensitive that they frequently are aware of more about what is going on than anybody else in the room. This sort of person is always alert and taking in what is going on around them, but since they are so quiet, you would never guess that they are doing either of those things. They basically try to minimize unnecessary interaction by keeping a low profile and collecting information in that way. In addition to this, they avoid overly chatty salespeople at all costs, which ultimately results in their leaving the store without purchasing anything. Number 2. Sigma when they go shopping, men don't want to have their attention diverted from them, therefore they like to think about their options and make their choice on their own. Children will, without a doubt, seek assistance from an adult if they require it. Nevertheless, the vast majority of the time, they would rather work things out on their own. They abhor being pressured into making a purchase to the point where they consider walking out of the store, and it is something they experience frequently. If a salesman follows up in a determined manner, they are conscious of the fact that even though it is a requirement of their job, they would like to be left alone. They abhor it when people try to convince them to buy their products by analyzing each and every aspect of the transaction or by using intense levels of pressure to make the sale. The people from Sigma place a premium on working effectively. As a result, they will hastily proceed to a different store where they may get the items they want without being required to endure all of the sales presentations. When marketing to Sigma males, it is essential to be as direct as possible. Just give them the facts that they are looking for, and then stand back and let them make their own choices. In the event that they require further information, they will make the appropriate inquiries. Number 3. They do not always recognize the value of compliments. It's not that Sigma males don't like compliments, far from it. After all, receiving compliments on a job well done is extremely gratifying and enjoyable. However, there are times when compliments might be misconstrued as a trap, either because of the way they are presented or the person giving them. People who have the Sigma personality type typically have a very humble disposition. ND do not need the approval of others in order to feel good about themselves. They are confident in their own worth and don't seek validation from the opinions of others because of this. In addition to this, they find it insulting, and they are quick to pick up on it if someone is trying to flatter them or win them over. In return for something that many members of Sigma despise, which is being told that they are clever or excellent at something, the majority of Sigma males are aware of their own abilities. This is despite the fact that compliments are intended to make individuals feel good about themselves. Therefore, the thing that makes them feel good about themselves is when other people pay attention to them and follow their advice. It is appropriate to offer congratulations to a Sigma every once in a while, but you should never do it on purpose. It's possible that someone won't take your compliments seriously if you give them too many of them. Number 4. In order to avoid coming into contact with a loud mouth, they change the direction in which they are traveling. People who have a habit of talking a lot and striving for attention are a major source of contention for Sigma males. This makes people with big mouths a significant source of conflict. They also don't seem to know when to give up, which is concerning. Because they are loud, impolite, and generally annoying, people go out of their way to avoid them by altering the direction in which they walk, crossing the street, or doing whatever else that may be required. If they find themselves in a conversation with one of these individuals, it will be very difficult for them to get out of it and will waste a lot of their time. The Sigma gender is comprised of men who value their time and would rather not waste it on someone who is emotionally or mentally spent. They take pleasure in talking to other people. They just choose to do it with those with whom they have a genuine interest in common over anyone else. Many individuals make the mistake of mistakenly interpreting this conduct and assuming that members of the Sigma order are snobs who abhor small talk and people who squander their time. We have all encountered the kind of person who is solely interested in talking about themselves, and those who identify as Sigma males would do well to steer clear of them under any and all circumstances. Number 5. They do not always appear to have a smile on their face. It is a common misconception that Sigma males are miserable and do not enjoy themselves even if they may not always look to be serious and may smile occasionally. This is not the case. They just do not see the need in always smiling as other people do since they believe it is pointless. Sigma males have a propensity towards focusing inward. They do not see it necessary to continually air their feelings in front of others. They are usually mistaken as being unfriendly or uncaring when, in reality, they are merely preoccupied with themselves and their thoughts. Sigma males tend to keep their ideas and feelings to themselves since they want to go through things on an internal level. Even without showing his teeth, Sigma is able to convey his contentment. It does not appear to be important to him to convey to people around him how much he is enjoying the present moment. Sigma males tend to be more reserved and thoughtful, whereas alpha males are more likely to strike up conversations and be extroverts. Number 6. Because Sigma boys loathe having conversations over the phone, it's possible that they won't pick up the phone when it rings. They could forward their calls to voicemail, or they might choose to ignore them entirely. They would rather text or speak in person since it is frequently more time efficient and they don't have to spend additional time on small talk. They want to get to the meat of the matter immediately. Because chit-chat is not their thing, although there are some people who could think this unfriendly, it is actually just a preference on their part. The Sigma males have no intention of becoming evil. They just don't want to have constant phone conversations with one another. If it is relevant to them, there is little question that they will reply. But, if it is not significant to them, they will not spend their time responding. Don't let that bother you on a personal level. If you attempt to contact a Sigma and he doesn't pick up the phone, it doesn't mean that he has something against you. Simply put, he behaves in accordance with his own expectations of himself. Because there isn't enough room, he has no intention of changing his plans or his agenda. Therefore, sending a Sigma a text message is your best option if you want to interact with him so that he may reply at his own pace and on his own schedule. This is because he will be able to read and respond to your message when it is convenient for him. They despise being forced to spend time alone with boring or dramatic people. Number 7. The very worst thing that can happen to a Sigma is to be trapped in a room with someone who doesn't have anything interesting to say, or to listen to someone go on and on about their problems. Spending time with people who use up all of our resources is a waste of time since life is so brief. The brothers of Sigma enjoy one another's company most when they're intellectually stimulating, comedically uplifting, or both. They can't allow themselves to be drawn into a dangerous situation because they need to maintain command of their environment at all times. They typically have a robust feeling of independence and do not take pleasure in being in the company of those who are dependent or clingy. This may appear to be a cynical way of looking at the world, but it really makes perfect sense when you take into account the fact that Sigma is consistently successful and does not want anything or anybody to stand in the way of their progression. They make up an excuse about being out of the house whenever the doorbell rings. Number 8. Considering that Sigma people are experts at maintaining secrecy, it should not come as a surprise that they regularly ignore the doorbell when it rings incorrectly. If they don't know the person, they will often pretend to be away from home so that they may avoid any unpleasant interactions. They do this in order to avoid being approached by salespeople and other types of solicitors. However, it is also possible that they do this in order to protect their privacy. They just value their privacy and time spent by themselves more than other individuals, which in and of itself does not mean that they are paranoid. They commonly use this tactic to preserve their sense of isolation since they don't like it when they're interrupted when they're paying attention to something and they don't feel like conversing when they don't feel like talking. In spite of what some people may believe, This strategy for avoiding unexpected interruptions is actually rather astute and may be quite helpful. The vast majority of people dislike being ignored, but males in Sigma don't mind it one bit. They are not intending to be impolite in any way. They are simply too busy to have a casual discussion with you right now. They only let a select few people in on the secret. Number 9. Sigma males are extremely selective when it comes to inviting people into their inner circle. They do not just welcome everybody and everyone into their midst. They will only discuss their innermost thoughts and emotions with those they see as trustworthy. This is due to the fact that they are extremely private people who do not want to provide too much information about themselves to other people. They are conscious of the fact that not everyone is deserving of having what they have. People who they thought were their friends had in the past disappointed them and betrayed their trust. As a consequence of this, they give a great deal of thought to the people they decide to hang out with. In spite of the fact that Sigma males are dedicated friends and will do anything for the people they care about, they won't think twice about cutting someone out of their life if they have reason to feel that the person is harmful or damaging to them in some manner. When anything like this does take place, which won't be very often, the Sigma won't bother to look. Sigma males, on the other hand, are the complete antithesis of alpha males in that they do not require attention or companionship in order to experience happiness. They typically find that spending an excessive amount of time with other people causes them to get weary, and they require some time alone to recover. Since of this, people often get the impression that they are lone wolves because they do not require the company of others in order to feel full or happy. This is because they are able to refuel their batteries and go away from the din and mayhem of the outside world. Sigma males are quite content when they are alone themselves and typically discover tranquility either in the natural world or in their own thoughts and reflections. They come back feeling refreshed and prepared to take on anything as a consequence of their time away. Number 11. Before leaving their residence, they wait outside until their next-door neighbor has already gone. Despite the fact that being alone is seen as a bad experience for Sigma males by a large number of people, it is really a vital part of their lives that enables them to reset and return feeling better than. Even though some people may enjoy living in close proximity to their neighbors, males will often wait a few minutes after seeing a neighbor leave their house before leaving their own. This is because males are part of the Sigma fraternity. This does not imply that they are unsociable or that they dislike their neighbors. Nonetheless, they get sick of being asked the same questions each time they meet them. Sigma males like to keep their distance because they value their privacy and despise the sensation that they are being watched or followed. The last thing that people want is to have their attention held for an extended period of time by a boring conversation about their work, the weather, or anything else that truly isn't important to them. Even if it's beneficial to chat for a while, there are instances when you have to rush and simply want to get on with the rest of your day. The preference of Sigma males to look on from the sidelines rather than take part in activities is something that other people would consider a bad quality. This is due to the fact that they have an interest in understanding how people operate and what motivates them, and they believe that it is more intriguing to observe from a distance and take everything in rather than to be in the thick of things themselves. This in no way indicates that Sigma does not take pleasure in taking part in various activities. Simply put, they like going about it on their own initiative. These are the tenets that Sigma males live by, and one of those tenets is that they would rather listen to others speak than talk about themselves. They are able to enhance their comprehension of people and get better at determining what it is that individuals desire or need simply by listening to those people and seeing their body language.
Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And do share with your friends so we may continue to create them. To see more videos like this, subscribe and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Additionally, make sure to check out our other videos. Thank you for watching.